I guess if you look at our website when Brilliant Digital got involved, we were at a time when we were transitioning from our old name, which was Vixale Sydney, to our new name, which was Flagstaff Marine. So we were committed to creating, if you like, a whole new website with new branding. We had traditionally in the past perhaps focused more on what I would call a typical brokerage style website. And for the new boats and the branding of Beneteau, particularly since we'd acquired powerboats as well as sailboats, we were really keen that we had a new look, a new image, a fresh approach. So this was really for us a major step in the next part of our journey, if you like, of branding Flagstaff Marine. I think probably the way we were using a combination of our own local website and the Beneteau global website. And we wanted to really take the best information that there was from the Beneteau global website and bring it into a local website under our brand, and then add our own local flavour, if you like, and local emphasis to that, because by definition the Beneteau global website is trying to address a variety of markets. Australia is a fairly unique market, so we wanted to customise the content to our individual market. I would not claim to say I understood digital marketing. I claim to say I had an awareness of it. I think we had been on the edges of digital marketing, and I have a couple of other businesses that I've also experimented with digital marketing in. But we knew that in rebranding the business and relaunching it to some extent, digital marketing had to play a key part. We had looked at independent digital marketers. One of the solutions we could have pursued is to have somebody do the website and then engage someone purely to do the digital marketing. We were aware through their industry activity of the Brilliant Group, so they were a natural candidate for us to sit and talk to. We had seen the work they'd been doing in the industry for a number of years, so importantly we knew that Brilliant Group understood our industry, so that was a key one. We had admired the quality of the writing that was done, and that was probably for us the biggest deficit, that if we engaged someone, we needed someone who could write from our industry perspective. Bluntly understood what a bow of a boat was, knew what a stern of a boat was, and all the bits in between. And that's sometimes hard to find. So we were comfortable that Brilliant had the experience, the knowledge, and really it was getting them across our products rather than the other products that they've been working on. Probably the key one was that because the major event for us is the Sydney Boat Show, which kicks off at the beginning of August every year, and we only sat down to talk to the Brilliant Group some 6 weeks prior to that, then the major factor was the commitment that we would have a website up and operating by August the 1st, which was a fairly huge task to undertake and meant that we had to contract the normal process of designing and development. That meant that we had to have a lot of trust in the Brilliant Group and the fact that they could execute this successfully, which they did. And we were up and running with a site that was probably 85% of what we wanted, which is what we were targeting, to be ready by August the 1st. And then in the subsequent 4 to 6 weeks, we finished off the website. There were some of the niceties, such as the stories and other elements that we hadn't got in place, but we had the key parts of the models, the range, all of the supporting information, which is really important for us. Our product is a product that people will spend a lot of time considering, a lot of time thinking about. We have a long purchase cycle, anything from 3 months to 2 years. People are hungry for information, so the website had to be very detailed, very thorough on each of the models. Where it definitely does help us and is invaluable is that, as I said in the past, if we were responding to an inquiry, we would send back an email and point typically to a generic page within the Beneteau.com website. the ability now to point to a specific page, localized page. We've got more information, more photos, more detail. I think we're more user-friendly in terms of once having got somebody to a Oceanus 41.1, for instance, the amount of information that's there and in front of them is excellent. So what it's enabled us to do is to be a lot more professional looking, a lot more thorough, and to get a greater degree of engagement with our prospects. Probably questions they might have come back and asked, they don't need to come back and ask. We shouldn't overlook the fact also there's a fair amount on our profile. Who are we? Who is Flagstaff Marine? Mika, my business partner, and I, who are we? Where did we come from? Who's the team? A bit of the history. All of that I think is important because often people who are coming to us may not be as familiar with us and know who we are as a company and how long we've been around. We're certainly seeing a lift in the market. There's been a definite improvement in our inquiry rate. I'm pleased to say there's been an improvement in our conversion rate as well. We're only 3 months into the year, so early days for us, but we have certainly come out of the gate strongly. And we're looking forward to this continuing to, this lift, if you like, on previous years to continue through the rest of the next 9 months that we've got to go. So yeah, it's been a great start to the year. I guess twofold. One is from a strategic tactical point of view. Liaising, we talk weekly by phone with the agency about what are the current priorities, what are the new models, what events are coming up, what do we think is newsworthy, where we perhaps need to do some updates because we've had some information from the factory. The other side of it is just really keep feeding to the agency thoughts and ideas that we have about where we think there is a particular good story, new owner who's just purchased, got a unique story. We've got someone who's just about to take delivery of a boat in France and going to sail it all the way back from France to Australia. So there's a great story there. The boat's not due to be handed over to them till March, but we've already had a conversation, or the agency has. We've already published the first story. We'll include them in our newsletter, we'll include them in our Facebook and other digital media. One of the big pluses for us that clearly Deb has worked extensively in the industry. She has a really good understanding of it. David, one of her partners, has had a business in the industry, so he has a thorough understanding of it. It's pretty evident from our perspective when we're talking to the writers that many of them have been involved in the industry for some time. So we feel comfortable that there is a depth of knowledge and experience and understanding of the language to use. It's often how do you explain a complex part of the boat in simple terminology? How do you convey the unique attributes of our model against others? So yeah, we feel there's really good depth and really good experience. If you form a relationship with someone and then trust them to do your marketing, and my whole background is sales and marketing in various companies and organisations, then it has to be a partnership. It has to be sharing of ideas, sharing of knowledge. My brief to Deb at the outset was, there's a clear outcome we're trying to achieve here, Deb, in terms of leads and ultimately, hopefully, and as we are seeing strong sales of our models, but I'm also prepared to challenge some thinking, think outside the square, try something different. I think we need to be open to experimenting, and not everything is going to work 100%. So we have to be in partnership because we may collectively choose to go down a path that we look at subsequently and say, you know what, that wasn't as successful as we thought. On the other hand, we'll go down a different path and it will deliver everything we hope for. I think storytelling is a really key part of the message. As I said earlier, people are hungry for information. So the benefit of the storytelling is if we have a wider array of stories, which we do, that people will pick the story that most relates to their circumstance or their dream, if you like. And let's be honest, owning a boat is a dream. I think it's almost an essential requirement of life to own a boat, but not everyone shares that view. And I accept that it is a considered purchase for some. But what people are looking at is, this is the journey we're going on. This is why we want to get into boating. And if they can see that other people have already experienced that and share in that experience, then that only reinforces their commitment, their belief. We have a very strong network amongst the Beneteau owners and with the Beneteau Regattas and the Beneteau Club. We encourage Beneteau owners to talk to each other, to get to meet each other. If somebody reads a particular story on the website and is keen to meet that person as part of the process of their planning what kind of boat works for them, we'd be happy to facilitate it. So I think storytelling or sharing the real life experiences is great, really important. We get both. We get the, look, I'm looking to get a boat, my family and I've got this idea, we want to do something in the next 1 to 2 years, and they're right at the very beginning of the journey, and for whatever reason they come to us and want to start having a discussion. At the other end, we will get the people who I want to come in and sit and talk to you about XYZ model, and when we start to discuss it, I've read your website, I've looked at all the information, I've got a really good understanding of the model, which is why I want to talk to you, because I think it's the right one for me. What I really want to come and talk about now is what's involved in the next part of the process. If I do choose to buy a Gran Turismo 50, for instance, where do we go from here? So, two different groups, very much so. Once you've engaged with people, and I think you steer them to the website, get them hopefully engaged with our Facebook page and our newsletters, then I think that the important part of that from our point of view is, because it is such a long period of time of gestation, if you like, between initial inquiry and final purchase, we need to stay engaged with the person, but in the right way. We don't want to be picking up the phone every month and saying, "Hi, how you going? Are we ready to talk yet?" I mean, that's not the way the industry works, or certainly not the way we work. But rather, we want to just keep feeding them bits of information, letting them know we're there, sharing stories, sharing new developments, so they come on the journey with us. The short answer is yes, digital marketing does work for us. I mean, that's its simple one. I've been in advertising all my life. When I first started studying advertising at college, there was the famous saying that half the money I spend on advertising is wasted if only I knew which half. Right? That applies to any type of marketing. We're never quite sure which bit is having the most impact. But one thing about digital that is important and vital for us is the metrics that we can get behind, whether it be Facebook, whether it be newsletters, whether it be any other activity that we're doing, gives us a far better insight as to the engagement. When we send out a newsletter, we can see who's opening the newsletter, the opening rate, the click-through rate, all of those kind of things. So we can see what is working and what isn't working in terms of what is the style of message that our audience wants and what are the kinds of information that they find interesting. So I would imagine, or anyway, I can't imagine not having a digital as a key part of your marketing activity in today's world. I really don't think as a business you will A, build the brand, B, attract and find new customers, and 2, improve your sales if digital marketing isn't part of your foundation. I now spend less time on digital marketing than I did before. The benefit of having an agency, and an agency with all the skills and the knowledge and the expertise to do it, is that I don't have to get so involved. I've got professional people who give me advice, which is great. I don't have to go seeking that advice. I'm not managing a staff member internally anymore. We let that role go because the agency has taken on that role. So from my point of view, we have 1,000% increase in our digital platform, if you like, for less time. It's got to be a winner.